This is the arbiter. This guy is the arbiter of what's supposed to go on Twitter. He's the one he thought, and he used CNN as a guide. CNN, which is fake news. He uses CNN as a guide. His name is Yoel Roth, and he's the one that said that.
But Mr. President, that's not true.
So here, excuse me, wait a minute, I'm not finished.
My man, my God, this Twitter business is something to pay attention to. I can't avoid it. It's all over my screen. I'm like, oh my Lord, Elon Musk is doing more for freedom of speech than anybody else has ever done in our time. Elon Musk automatically has become one of the largest voice as an independent journalist, you may style him. Much more than that, of course. He is addressing issues that many in the media should have addressed, but were left undressed. Black hole, we can't touch the subject. This man is doing it because he can, and he has the money and the backing to carry it out. Thank God for that. Friends, we're going to get into this thing today. We have a number of videos we're going to go through. Before we do that, make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more of my notification upload. Listen, we got something good going on for you today. Stick with us all the way till the end. Now, let me show you what I got for you right now. On the screen is this Twitter file that was dropped just about a day ago. Yeah. I mean, listen, the evidence is so strong right now. So strong. Now, listen to what is being said here. Let me see if I can make my screen a little bit bigger for you. All right. This is what's being said and discussed on Twitter right now. On the morning on January 8th, President Donald Trump, with one remaining strike before being a risk of permanent suspension from Twitter, tweets twice. What was his tweets? The 75 million great American patriots who voted for me, American first, make America great again, will have a giant voice long into the future. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any way, shape, or form. This was the tweet that supposedly got him deplatformed from Twitter. Now, there are so many other backward conversation happening on Twitter here. This is all being exposed. And they were having these conversations, finding ways to, how could I say this? Rewrite their own policies so that they can have a reason to actually ban Donald Trump, a sitting president. Don't forget that. So part of the employees, Twitter's employees organized to demand their employer to ban Trump. There is a lot of employee advocacy happening, said one Twitter employee. So inside of Twitter, there were people saying, I'm tired of Trump. We need to shut him down. Ban this man. So Twitter, instead of going with the policies, went with the sentiments of his own employees to go against a sitting president just because they didn't like him. Wow. They talk about Alex Jones, shut up. Your battle rifles exceeded that standard. So there's a lot of conversation here being exposed. I'm going to read one of the portion that I think is very crucial. Very crucial. And I think this one is key. And I got some videos to share with you. Please stick with me. Now, going down below. Twitter shows how much of a double standard they had going on. Watch this. In 2018, the Iran Ayatollah Ali Khamenei tweeted, is a malignant, cancerous tumor about West Africa, West Asia. Listen to this. Our stance against Israel is the same stance we have taken, is a malignant cancerous tumor in West Africa, Asian region that has to be removed and eradicated. Is it possible? It is possible, and it will happen. Friends, this is a call for violence. This is a call for war. But that was not canceled on Twitter. Now, another one. Mahdi Mohammed. Muslims have a right to be angry and kill millions of French people for the massacre of the past. Twitter did not remove it. That was not considered hate speech on Twitter. That was okay. You inciting violence with your words here. Inflammatory words are being used here. But nevertheless, Twitter did not remove that. But they went after the sitting president. Much more could be said and translated here, which I'm not going to get into that. But here's another thing. Here's another thing. Going down to Twitter, this is Vijaya, one of the person mostly responsible for canceling people, and primarily the sitting president. I know she was fired. From what I heard, she was crying on her way out the door. Vijaya Gade is having this conversation concerning finding reasons to get rid of Trump. It says less than 90 minutes after Twitter employees had determined that Trump's tweets were not in violation of Twitter's policy, Vijaya Gade, Twitter's head of legal policy and trust, asked whether it could, in fact, be coded incitement to further violence. You see what's going on here? They are changing their policies, even though they knew Mr. Trump did not do anything in any way to violate the policy or the guidelines of Twitter. They will go as far as to change things around in order to get rid of a sitting president whom they didn't like. Look what they said now. This is when this stuff gets crazy, friends. Watch this. A few minutes later, Twitter employees on the scale enforcement team suggest that Trump's tweet may have violated Twitter's glorification of violence policy, if you interpret the phrase American patriots to refer to the rioters. What? So they will take words and add different meanings to them and use that as a reason to cancel people. So they will make the rules and change the rules where it fits them best. Listen to that. You make your own laws, you break it and change it and fix it however you want. That's just a lot of power for a platform to have. I'm so glad Elon Musk came into the picture here and made a change. This is significant. So even some of the members, leadership group responsible for violence, this comparable Christ shooter, Hitler. Wow. On a bias totalitarian, it should be deplatformed. They're comparing him to Hitler. So while they were inside, they compare, okay, to Nazis following orders. These people were crazy, yo. They were so anti-Trump. And it's not even funny. So these were some of the things that they were pushing for to get rid of Trump by any means necessary. So they were having some mental gymnastics going on at Twitter. They knew that this was impossible. They were not supposed to do this because the man really hasn't done anything in any way to incite violence to be deplatformed from the Twitter. And yet again, he's the sitting president. Let me ask you a simple question. For those of you who think this is no big deal, if Trump was standing in front of your face right now, would you duct tape his mouth? As a sitting president, would you have duct taped the mouth of the president of your country? No, but they did exactly that on Twitter. That's exactly what they did on Twitter. And that's what makes it really, really crazy for you to understand. But now, let's go on because we have a few things to get through. Hang with us here. So now, breaking news. We're going to listen to just two major videos. We're going to let them run. So the first one here is Redacted. Redacted went deep with this one. You know what? We're just going to do Redacted. I'm going to save the next video of Jim Jordan on Fox Business for another video so that I respect your time. But on Redacted, they are talking about one of the person. What is his name? Let me make sure I get his name correct. One of the guys at Twitter that was censoring people. And now he's going to give you the reasons why he did it because he gave an interview. And these guys on Redacted, independent journalists here, are explaining the notion behind that. Now, let's take a listen to this.
But of course, everyone wants to know the thought process behind banning Donald Trump and January 6th. So here we get to hear more spin and garbage. Here he says he was compelled to take action because of this is amazing. And it's all about these guys, right? It's all about the content moderators. We got to really feel bad for him.
Yeah.
He said he was compelled to take action on Donald Trump because of the trauma that he and other content moderators experienced online that day. A day that will live in infamy. Watch.
Donald Trump.
That one I don't think was a mistake.
January 6th.
So it starts on the 6th, but it also starts prior to that.
That's correct.
In the weeks leading up, in the weeks between Election Day and January 6th, Twitter moderated.
I love that. Kara Swisher, that's correct. Like, yes, I am the narcissist. I am the absolute, yes, absolutely. You are correct. Whatever, I'm going to be the one that's checking you in real time on that. So this all happened before January 6th. You are correct.
Hundreds. I think the final number ended up as 140 separate tweets from just at Real Donald Trump that violated various policies.
Yes, he was good at that.
Integrity policy.
Yeah.
Every morning it was a new tweet. Much of it was recirculating some of the same narratives, and all of it was focused on the ultimately false claim that the 2020 election had been stolen. And so we're going into the events of the 6th, and there's that context. There's the centrality of his account in
So you let him get away with it for a long time, in other words.
Well, we've been informed.
These people, she said, you let him get away with it for a long time. Excuse me, who are you talking about? Are we talking about a sitting president here, or are we talking about some little guys down the street? This is ridiculous. Even the thought process is ridiculous. Who do you think you are? Who has given you the power to think that you can shut the mouth of a sitting president just because you don't like him? You have ISIS. You have Chinese. You have other extremists on Twitter. You have CP, if you know what that means. That's protected. That was protected on Twitter until Elon Musk came and cleaned the house. There was porn on Twitter, and that was okay. But the sitting president, you wanted to cancel that man, and you did. And nobody checked you on that?
Forcing on it.
You let the president of the United States speak. You let him get away with that. How dare you? You let him get away with that for a long time.
Right, so we restricted the tweets. We put warnings on them. You couldn't like them. You couldn't retweet them. But we didn't ban him because it was a relevant part of a moment in American politics.
Right.
The level of mental gymnastic here. A relevant part. These guys are silly. Do they think people are stupid or what? Really? Why would you do something like that? Thing is, once you get Trump out of the way, who else is left? The American people. Friends, haven't we felt censorship? For those of you who don't know how serious censorship is, get yourself a channel and say a number of words that you're not supposed to say. See what happens to you. It's not a joke. It becomes an organization. I believe it's not just Twitter. I believe Facebook, YouTube, they're all working together. They have a backdoor portal to the CDC, to the FBI, to go in there and control speech, which does not align with their political perspective and narrative? What? In free America? Oh, Lord have mercy. This guy is sitting there telling you why him and his team in 2020 had to censor Mr. Trump, a sitting president. Brother, are you crazy?
The events of the 6th happen. And if you talk to content moderators who worked on January 6th, myself included, the word that nearly everybody uses is trauma. Mm-hmm.
He said trauma. Oh, the content moderators were experiencing traumatic trauma. The trauma was so bad that they had to do this to get rid of the trauma. Do what? Ban the president.
Experience those events, not some of us as Americans, but not just as Americans or as citizens, but as people working on sort of how to prevent harm on the internet. We saw the clearest possible example of what it looked like for things to move from online to off. We saw the way that rhetoric about a stolen election was being mobilized on sites like thedonald.win.
Sure.
We saw the trafficking of this content in the fringe parts of the internet, and we saw people dead in the Capitol as a
People dead in the Capitol. One person died. One person at the Capitol.
Why not?
consequence of it.
Oh, yeah. It's the trauma.
The trauma.
I feel bad for him. I feel bad for all the content moderators out there.
Yeah.
It's all about him.
I would say, I want to point out, I highly doubt that it troubled anybody at Twitter to ban Trump. They were salivating for the opportunity. I don't think anybody was troubled by that.
Oh, they were
They
just
sure-
waiting. I bet they had a
still
party.
didn't do anything. Like, where was the trauma when Clinton was saying that the 2016 election was stolen? Where was the trauma on that day?
Yeah.
You know,
There was just I saw all the bodies. I saw all the bodies at the Capitol.
Yeah.
And I knew
they went to a website. They organized on a website.
I knew that Twitter was responsible, and all of us content moderators. The trauma was severe.
The trauma was
Severe. Oh, poor you. It's all about you, of course. He says he was terrified.
Could you imagine like being one of those people that worked at Twitter and there's like one person is sitting there breaking down at their desk and all the other people are around her patting her on the back like it's fine, it's gonna be okay. We just banned him. We just banned Trump. It's fine. Everybody, we just banned him. You can all relax, stop crying, get out of your sleep pods.
But the thing is they fail to realize is that this stuff is going to catch up to you in time. You can do your wickedness and your evil, and you can cover it up for a long time. Eventually, it sticks its ugly head out. These Twitter moderators never thought that they were going to be caught. There it is. And I will say, there are many more who think they can do what they do and get away with it. Friends, haven't you read? What you sow, you will reap.
Put your granola bars down.
It's okay now. It's all okay. But meanwhile, no one's even there. They're all at home anyway. They don't even work in the office. So,
Right.
So, oh, poor you, He says he was terrified that red MAGA-hatted Trump supporters were going to come after him after he labeled certain tweets misinformation. Watch.
But what are you worried about these Twitter files coming out? And what was that experience like having Kellyanne, who's always in control of herself, and sicking this MAGA trolls on you?
It's terrifying. I thought I was going to be a college professor for a living. I got a PhD and was doing research that nobody cared about, and then I was like, oh, this platform thing is cool. Like I can go and do research there, and one thing led to another, and all of a sudden we apply a misinformation label to Donald Trump's account, and I'm on the cover of the New York Post, and that is a deeply terrifying experience. And I say this from.
You wonder why? What do you mean? Why are you shocked? Bruh, you just. He said, I'm on the cover of New York Post. That's the least that could be done to you for going after a sitting president. Then you should have said, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. That's all I got. Like, bruh, you were met with grace.
Post, and that is a deeply terrifying experience. And I say this from a position of unquestioned privilege as a cis white male. Like, the internet is much scarier and much worse for lots of other people who aren't me, but it was pretty fucking scary for a long time.
What was the
as a result of
scariest
that? When you get targeted in some of these ways, it's hard to differentiate between what is somebody just online trying to rattle you and what's a real threat. You see in things like Pizzagate that online conspiracies can mobilize very real and
Don't repeat that word. Now, Have you noticed something in this interview? This is about him. This is all about him. All about Twitter employees and they had to do. It's not about the American people. It's not about Trump. It's not about the Constitution of our nation. It's not about free speech. It's about us. This guy is silly, yo. I can't believe he's still talking. Anyway, let's not go to the Pizzagate business. We gotta stay away from that. That's a word you don't understand.
Doxed years before by teenagers, actually. They're always behind it. But,
So it's all about him.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's really, really sad. So, you label the president of the United States as misinformation from your Twitter throne.
Yeah.
And you wonder why you wind up on the front page of the New York Post.
Can I make a suggestion? Can we have just a moment of silence for all of the Twitter employees that had to go through that on that day? Just really quick.
I just...
My glass off, too. Take my hat off.
All the Twitter employees who experienced trauma on that day. We feel you. We feel you. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I don't.
Me too.
I'm sorry, I just ate a habanero. I'm sorry.
That's horrible.
From the man wouldn't let us eat meat.
So, Twitter actively censoring the president of the United States, actively involved in covering up and colluding with the government on these stories, actively participating in political suppression of information that could have had an absolutely detrimental effect to then candidate Joe Biden. We're not allowed to find out about Hunter Biden's connections in Ukraine, how much money he's making there. All of the, I love how liberals try to say, it's all about Hunter Biden. Well, we didn't run. Hunter Biden's not the president. Oh, but all of the tentacles around it and how much money was being, flowed into Ukraine and other places because of Hunter Biden's connections there. This goes beyond Hunter Biden. The story is not Hunter Biden. The story is Joe Biden. And so they can deflect all they want to, and they can pretend that it's not, but that's exactly what it is. And they're lying. They're lying. And we're going to keep exposing these punks. Thank you.
Great job, guys. And again, how dare you? How dare you censoring a sitting president? I don't care how you feel about him. You got to respect him. Enough. He has the right to speak his view, even the ones you don't like. That was crazy, man. The level of biasness, that's just wickedness. I'll tell you what. I hope they realize it's about to catch up, because it looks like somebody's gonna either be held seriously accountable. I hope they're ready for what's coming. You see, this Twitter business, this is the thing about life. You always want to do what is right, because you don't know when he's gonna catch up to you. It's one thing you do wrong and you are convicted and you're like, man, you stop. You make a change before things get worse. Praise God. But it's another thing to do wrong and continue to do wrong and thinking that you're unstoppable. But little do you know, every now and then, God takes the wheel in his hand and exposes your hypocrisy. I'm telling you, friends, don't ever think it's okay to do evil and there is no reaping period. Friends, if you sow, you will reap. I've always heard when it's time to reap, it's always much more than what was sowed. In the Bible, friends, we are told, be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also. These people are reaping what they've sown. They've sown deception, lies, political corruption. They've sown intolerance, censorship. Guess what? It's coming back to bite them. And I'm waiting and watching, because I love my freedom. I need my freedom of speech or else I can't run my channel. So listen, they're going to reap what they've sown. And I will say even further, watch yourself. Let's watch ourselves. We also reap what we sow. You sow wickedness, evil, idolatry, corruption, perversion. It's going to come back to you. And that's why I say, the sooner you can repent, the better it is for you. Because when it's time to reap, oh, you will wish you never sown. Young man got with a girl, one decision that night, he's got a child that he was not ready to take care of. That's called reaping time. One drug that was smoked the night with a few friends turned you into an addict, and now you don't know how to live your life properly. That's called reaping. The beautiful thing, though, even though you've made bad decisions, you may be reaping the consequences. I'm reaping consequences of many things in my life right now. Even though I know I'm saved by the blood of the Lamb, there are things I look at and I say, boy, I wish I did not do that. I wish I had made a better choice. But it's okay. I'm carrying my cross. Carry your cross. These people on Twitter, they're going to have to deal with the consequences of their own decision behind the scene and all that stuff they did. I'm hoping justice will be served. I don't wish evil on them. I pray for the blessing of the Lord to visit them, for salvation, to minister to them. But I also pray for justice, though. I also pray for righteousness. I also pray for evildoers to be stopped. Yeah, that's being balanced. All right, friends. Thank you so much for listening. Before I start going on a rant here, make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more of my notification upload. Comment below, share your thoughts, perspective with me. Until next time, and as always, remember to look unto Jesus and to live by faith. Have a good one. Bye.